coming to you live from the Lions Den. The most intriguing head coach in the NFL in my eyes. A Super Bowl champion, a legend amongst men for his beard, his big brain, and his Ticonderoga number 2 pencil use. Head coach of the Detroit Lions, Matt Patricia.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Great to have you guys. I appreciate you guys stopping in.
So we're in a layover, obviously. Didn't want to be like Tom Hanks and hang out in the terminal. I sent a little text message to a man named Eamon, who is a legend. He's your PR guy, I believe. Got this set up. I'm so thankful for you.
Yeah, well, hey, look, you guys made all the effort to get out here, so that's great.
All right, so you're in the middle of OTAs right now.
Yep.
Second year. Restrictions are flying left and right at head coaches. Last year, practice time got cut down. This year, the Oklahoma drill is getting taken out. How does a coach manage to get his team prepared for a season, especially with all these restrictions?
You know, we just got to hang in there and just making sure we have an adapt or die mentality, and that's what we got to do. We got to keep adapting and just try to figure out different ways to practice and get our guys better to go, ready to go and get them better and improve their fundamentals. So we're working. You know, we're actually starting mini camp next week. So we have 2 weeks of the OTA phase 3, and then we're going to do mini camp next week, hit 3 days in a row, and then finish up with another week of OTAs.
Last year, your first time being a head coach. I assume there was some nerves going into it now that you're the guy. You were under great tutelage, obviously, in New England. What was your first year as a head coach wrapped up in a couple sentences?
Yeah, best way to describe it, I say it all the time, it's like drinking from the fire hose. You're just in it. You're trying to get as much as you can, and come out in the end, you probably haven't drank enough, and you're soaking wet. So just trying to make sure to do everything possible to do a better job this year. You know, when you come off of, I was at the Super Bowl. Obviously, didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, but kind of get kicked into the next phase. I'm at a new place. We're trying to hire coaches, evaluate a roster. The off season was a little bit nuts, and then you get into the regular season, and you're trying to evaluate everything and change everything. And it's a long first year. It's one of those years where you learn a lot as a coach, and you learn a lot of what you probably did wrong and what you need to do better, and just make sure you do it right the next year.
Did you expect the drama that would come with being a head coach? It's almost like the society we live in nowadays. No matter what you do, there's going to be drama, right? You beat the Patriots. The place is obviously ecstatic. All of Detroit, Lions, I don't know what you guys, Lions Nation? Is that what it is? Is that Lions fan base? What are you guys called?
I like Lions Nation. That's good. We're good with that.
Did we just start that?
Yeah. You can just claim that right there.
So Lions
we like
Nation,
it. Lion Pride is good. I like that one too.
Okay,
I'm all about it. The pride of Lions. All of
are
us.
excited. Then there comes all this stuff that just comes from left field. It's like Matt Patricia has lost the locker room. And normally, I will say this as somebody who's been in the locker room for a long time, normally when that happens, it means that there's a couple people inside the locker room who have connects to media who aren't exactly happy with the way things are going. You continue to maintain this gentleman-like cool on top of it all. You go through your entire first season, you lose a couple players to injury, then you end it with a 31-0 victory over the Green Bay Packers with some people are saying the greatest color commentator in the history of the game.
I got to be honest with you. We listened to that call over and over in the squad, especially the outstanding play of Matt Prater and his amazing throw, and I would say the enthusiasm and the explanation that the commentator did through that game was unlike any I've ever seen. It was at a next level.
We won't talk about the commentator. Honestly, he doesn't deserve it, but. Some are saying he pitched a perfect game for his first game. That's neither here nor there. But a lot of drama through the whole thing, whether it was reporters kind of getting snippy with you, players, all these kind of bullshit things happening. Was that something you expected going into being a head coach, or is it just like just kind of got to learn as you go?
Yeah, again, I think if you're a first-time head coach, you should expect everything. I think when you go into it, you have no idea. And you know what? I give a lot of credit to, obviously, someone that I worked for a very long time, and his ability to just kind of maintain that steady calm all the way through everything. And what you really realize on this side of it, a lot of times things that walk through your door, I'm looking at basically a mirror image of what was me walking through the door with what I thought was an urgent problem, and sitting in the other seat going, what are you doing in my chair? What are you doing here right now? Like I got, there's 1,000 things going on. So you have just a greater appreciation for that, no doubt.
Have you thought about at all turning your press conferences into just play football?
I mean, I think for me, I had enough problems with my press conferences. I'm just going to try to hopefully try to get the information out there.
Something that was mentioned last year when I got a chance to talk to you the night before that Packers game was you meet with those reporters like literally hundreds of times in 1 year.
I think we did 118 along those lines.
That is, so if there's 118 times talking to somebody and the season doesn't go perfect and somebody feels as if they are, you're not saying this, I will, but somebody feels as if they're more important than a lot of things, I can see where frustrations happen on both sides. I'm happy to see you succeed, though, and move forward with this. With that being said, brought in a lot of your type of guys, I think. That was something I feel like you're probably looking forward to, is bringing in your type of guys that can get into the Lions. Danny Amendola's brought in. You brought in an Iowa tight end. To the chagrin of a lot of pride, Lion pride, by the way. Another tight end in the first round. But it feels like you're really getting your type of people in the building.
Well, for me, it was my first tight end in the first round. So, I'm kind of, I'm just worried about what I'm trying to do right now. A little bit strange, though, to be a defensive head coach in the NFL and your first two drafts, both your first rounders are on the offensive side of the ball. So, I'm trying to figure out, what's going on here. We got to get some, some balance.
No pool in there,
so, apparently not. But, no, just... Again, just working through the first year, excited about the second year. We're excited about, just trying to get better. All the players coming back that were here last year, super excited to get going with those guys and what we've been able to do the last 2 weeks and looking forward to the next two before to go to training camp and then pushing forward with the new guys that are in the building.
What does Danny bring to the team?
Yeah, Danny Amendola and I obviously have a long-standing relationship. There's definitely a lot of love there between the two of us and history that goes along with it. And just a guy I completely trust. And one of those guys you see in the building every single day and know that he's the right kind of guy and he's a guy you want to be around with when it's tough.
I remember when he was just a special teamer in St. Louis, and then obviously they left that city, and he did as well. Then he went on to become this clutch wide receiver in New England and then Miami, and now he's here. I think great addition to the locker room.
I appreciate that. There was a couple guys there in the slot position through the course of the years when I was at New England that I got real tired of trying to cover. One of them was Wes Welker when he was down at Miami, and I remember it was a game we were getting ready to go, and it was Orlando Mari, pulled his calf in warm-ups. And I'm looking, and here's Welker. He's kicking off. He's kicking field goals. He's returning punts. And I'm still trying to figure out how to cover him in the slot. I remember walking out of that game going, okay, if we could get this guy off of that team, that would probably make my life a lot better. And same situation with Danny. We played the Rams that year, and we were in London, and I wasn't sure if he was going to play or not play. I had to have like two different game plans. If he did, we had to make sure we took him out. If he wasn't playing, then we pushed everything else someplace else. And just one of those guys, when you prepare and play against guys like that, you have a lot of respect for them. You know what they can do. You like to try to get them on your side because you're tired of playing against them.
DJ Zed is playing against him right now on the internet. I don't know if you know anything about that. You shouldn't. I will, though. Matthew Stafford. There was conversations early last year about you two butting heads or something. Veteran quarterback, by the way, new head coach. Always a potential situation to happen. When I got a chance to talk to both you and Matthew Stafford the last game of the year, he was nothing but very appreciative of everything you've brought into his life. It was like a new focus for him, and you were the same way for him. You just were quoted a couple weeks ago saying that Matthew Stafford's just like a good guy, and he's been here for everything and wants everybody to be better. What do you see out of Matthew Stafford going into your second year as head coach?
It's all of it. I don't, again, follow any of the rhetoric that goes on outside this building. All I know is
he chugged very good, just like Tom Brady, by the way, so that should make you feel even better. Just something to think about.
Yeah, and just in the football side of this, what's really good for me is just, having that relationship with him. He's awesome. He's a football guy. He loves the game. This is my life. I'm passionate. I love football. He loves football. The best part is it can be any portion of the season, in the season, off season. I'll shoot him a text. I'll ask him a question. Hey, what do you think about this personnel? What do you think about this guy? Hey, have you seen this guy coming out of college? And he knows everything about the game, and you love it. It's conversation that just I think from a standpoint of guys that are passionate about what they do, it just draws that bond closer and closer. So it's great. Every single day I'm just I'm blessed to be able to walk in the building with that guy.
I think that's good to hear, because a lot of people have this image of Stafford where he's just this bro, doesn't really care. He got $700 million guaranteed, but it's nice to hear that it's somebody who's from a very hard-working dynasty say, hey, this guy's got it. I think that's good for the Lion Pride, Lions Nation to hear. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's a hardworking guy. There's no one tougher. There's no one that works harder, and he wants to win, and that's what we got to do.
The Packers head coach tore his Achilles in practice. Or no, something else. He tore his Achilles. Does that make you guys automatically the favorite in the NFC North because of that?
For the head coaching race, I mean, honestly, I think even with the torn Achilles, I'm not probably in the best sprinting shape right now. He probably still's got me. We'll have to see when we get to that point.
You shaved your beard down a little bit. What do we do?
Yeah, the off season it goes down. I got to start over every year. I take it down. I start over. Let it grow back a little bit, and then I'll take it down probably one more time. And then when training camp hits, it's on. So you just let it go.
So you just take notes all day. That's why that pencil's in your ear. Is that what? Like at any given moment, you could fucking write down some notes.
Yeah, 100%. I'm trying to evaluate everything, and I've actually I've upgraded there. Why don't you throw me that marker, the blue one here? So we've got the pencil. I've got note cards that I carry around with me all the time. My new latest one is that if I need to write notes, we're right on the table. So I'm just all the time. We're grinding out. We're gonna put X's and O's. It's the good thing about being a head coach is if we need a new table, we're just gonna call. We're gonna buy one, and we'll just go from there.
For those listening, they can't see what's happening. He is literally drawing out an entire play formation on the table that we are currently sitting at, which is a glass table. I would assume this is a dry erase, but nonetheless.
It may or may not be. You don't know. But, at that point, they got to figure it out.
Speaking of plays, drawing out, why didn't you give me a heads up about the fake field goal?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to bring that up or not. There's the fake field goal. I think I seem to remember a fake punt or something like that, too. That
you guys were going to run a fake
history.
punt?
We had fake punt, too. But you never know. You never know what's going to happen, so.
Are you a part of any of those decisions when it comes to because you got a new offensive coordinator? So obviously you're the head coach, but I've seen some head coaches who have sat back and let their offensive coordinator do his thing, defense coordinator do their thing. Are you in those meetings kind of like, hey, I think this would work potentially, because a defensive coordinator could potentially know more about offensive football than most offensive minds?
It's an excellent statement. I'm glad you said it and I didn't. But, I think for me, I'm involved in, as the head coach, you got to be involved in all aspects of the game, whether it's special teams, offense, defense, game management. That's your job, and that's what we're trying to do. So, it's great for me. I actually got into the league at New England on the offensive side of the ball. I coached, with Dante Scarnecchia in the O-line for 2 years before I switched over and coached the linebackers. So, I love all aspects of the game. Definitely the sleeper field goal, which is what we ran in Green Bay. I hadn't run that since it was actually the Rams 2004. Adam Vinatieri to Troy Brown. So it was one of those deals the last game, and I was like, you know what? I think it's about time for the sleeper. We haven't seen this in a while, so let's run it. Let's see what we got and get a little sparky, get going.
That's beautiful. And they also made rules against it, basically.
They did. It's actually very difficult to run right now.
It's impossible to run.
Yeah, so we had to kind of go through an approval process before the game and make sure the officials knew what we were doing. It's probably why I didn't tip you off.
For those that don't know why it's impossible, basically in between the 30s is the only place where you can have a guy who doesn't check in inside the hash mark, I believe, right? Everybody has to check in on the inside of the hash mark before they can go out. So it's hard to sneak somebody out there unless the corner who's rushing just completely isn't paying attention at all, which is what happened in Lambeau.
We had a shot of trying to do it with our sideline. Kind of maybe we thought they'd lose it in the background of what was going on, and it had to be in the right area where the coaches couldn't, on their sideline, get the information out to them in time. So it kind of just was a perfect storm and great execution.
A lot of plays in the NFL last year. That was in the top 100, voted by the NFL. Just want to let you know that.
I appreciate that. That's good.
Yeah, you should feel good. That's an offensive play, special teams play by a defensive coach. That's got to feel fucking great.
I mean, you just got to love Prater out there slinging it. I mean, that's awesome.
No laces, too. Did you see
it? Yeah, absolutely. Just grabbed it and just, heaved it up.
Did you think in that game, good idea would just be get Aaron Rodgers out early?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's always
play of the game.
Always a good plan, but it doesn't really usually work out that way.
I mean, he's so good at football.
He's so good. He's one of those guys I've had a lot of battles with through the year, and, I'll never forget, we were in a preseason game playing them one time, and, I'm on my sideline, I'm calling the defense, and he's literally standing at the numbers on our sideline. He's not getting a play call, and he's just looking at me and staring, and he's very cool, very calm. He always has that dialed-in kind of look, and so I'm looking back at him, and I'm kind of like, what are you doing? And he's like, hey, make the call. And I was like, you make the call. And he's like, no, go ahead and make the call. And I'm like, Well, shoot, I don't got to worry about the play clock. You do, so I'm good. You know, he's want to sit here all day, and he's just calm. Just he can see what's going on, goes up, makes a call, and goes, and you still can't stop it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, that's an incredible image in my head. Just you and Aaron Rodgers staring each other down.
Yeah.
Preseason game obviously means a lot, just like every other football game.
I'm sure it was probably the first preseason game or something real important like that too. Where it was,
hey Matt, why don't you make the call, man?
Yeah.
What are you sending in there, bub?
Yeah, and he's like smiling, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Who's your favorite player you ever played against?
Played against? That's an outstanding question. Man, I don't know. A lot of years of really good.
Because it's you versus quarterback and offense coordinator, basically, right? A defense coordinator is taking on the quarterback if they're the ones making a call at the line, or the offense coordinator. It's a constant chess match. Who's somebody you?
I mean, enjoy? I would love to sit there and say, obviously that I'm that involved, but I actually don't step in between the white lines. So it's really the players out on the field. No one wants me out there. It's not pretty. It doesn't look good. I would say as a game plan mentality, trying to stop people, there's a lot of them. A lot of great battles with Peyton Manning. I mean, obviously that guy is phenomenal. I obviously every single day in practice went against Tom Brady. That's someone that's unbelievable. And Josh, obviously McDaniels, and what they were able to do, and the great players that we had there, and through the league on offense. There's a lot of them. I'd say this though, the one guy just kind of recently is stuck in my head right now, probably because we play him first game of the year. But there's not a better guy or a tougher competitor than Larry Fitzgerald. That's a guy that's just unbelievable player and even a better person.
$10 million a year, I'll take another one, he says. And I think he's going to be able to play forever. He looks like he's in the best shape of his career.
He's so strong. As long as the quarterback throws it within the zip code, he's going to catch it. So it's just it's unbelievable.
So are you watching college, because they are your first game? You've been on record saying that you've been focusing on week one already because, that's your next real have you, watched Kyler Murray's college film? Is that what you're doing? How are you studying for a rookie quarterback?
Great question. Probably a little bit of a tip of what we try to do here is when quarterbacks come out in the draft, you evaluate all of them. We have to anyways as a head coach. You're looking at all of those guys, everybody in the draft. But even as a defensive coordinator, one of the things I was told as a young defensive coordinator was, you should really look at all the top quarterbacks coming out because whether they wind up on your team or you wind up playing against them, you want to get all that work in ahead of time. So it's kind of something that I already did.
AQ Shipley broke on my show that they're going to be in shotgun 99% of the time. Just a little inside information if you want to write that down on your phone.
No, it's good. I think I already told Cliff we're just going to go goal line, 23 personnel the whole game, and just make it about maybe a 20-play game.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Just like everything you do, very smart. Last question. What do you want your Detroit Lions team to be remembered as? This team is this. For instance, when I was on Peyton's team, it was. He was making the calls, he was cutting people, he was doing everything. But when I was there, it was like a group of guys that were tight. Yeah. They were going to be smarter than the other team, and they were going to be fresher than the team. That was the thing. We're going to be fresh, smart, and we're going to be a tight group. Then we kind of got into a regime there where it was we're going to have the most athletic guys. That kind of kept it moving, but we're going to be a hard-working group. And then Chuck got in there, and it was grit. That was what he wanted us to be known for. What do you want your teams to be known for?
I think, your team's going to be known for different things every single year. Every team is different, and each year in the NFL, now your team is completely different. It's a one-year season. 1-year commitment to the team. It's just kind of how things work. And, every year I think our guys are working extremely hard right now. We're trying to do all of that, whatever category you want to put those buzzwords in.
No way.
Do you
go out there and just read off a bunch of cliches?
I don't think I'm a cliches guy, but I probably have a couple catch sayings or probably some sarcastic remarks that probably.
Let me hear them.
I'm good there right now. You can catch those later at practice. But for me, it's more about just, I want everybody to be successful. I want them to be, happy in their careers and what they do. And for me, I just want our guys to be the best they can be. And with that, hopefully we can have some success.
It seems like you're a fundamentally sound guy, too. That's been a topic of conversation for you throughout your press conferences. You've talked about drill work, going back to the basics. That seems like something that is probably going to be something that you're going to be known for.
Yeah, it's not sexy. It's not fun. People don't like to talk about it, but it's real. It's real. It's 100% the foundation of what everything's built upon. And, for the most part, I like to say, players win games, coaches lose games. And in the end, most great plays in the biggest games of the year that I've been involved with, been some big ones. It's just been a good fundamental play that's made it. It hasn't been any call. It hasn't been anything that the coach did from the sideline. It had all to do with what the player did out on the field.
I always realized in like the most pressure-packed moments, like you always rely on your fundamentals.
Yeah.
Like whenever because there's a lot of like athleticism where you can just kind of athlete your way through things. But then whenever it's like a oh shit moment, like you always think back to like, okay, what are the fundamentals here?
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is the type.
Sure, and it also has to do with when you get tired, right? Which is
Yeah.
going to be the fourth quarter, the got-to-have-it situation is the end of the game. You're trying to build muscle memory because when you're tired, you want to revert to that, and that's only done through practice repetition. So that's where we get it. That's where we get it done.
What does the dynasty in New England have that everybody else is trying to get, and that you're trying to get here at the Lions?
Wins. So I think that's kind of the number one. Trophies, rings. I think a lot of those. So we're just trying to stay focused on us.
That's awesome, man. You a conspiracy theory guy?
What are we talking?
Well, on the way over here, I just saw a video of aliens, so I think they're coming. Just by the way.
Cool. Appreciate that. It's good. I mean, I'm kind of a space guy, so I'm an aeronautical engineer. That was kind of my deal. Like,
so you believe in aliens?
I didn't say I do or I'm not. I'm going to admit either way, but I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, I guess they're just happening now.
They're just showing up right now.
I guess it's a new thing where like the military is allowed to just talk about it now that they've seen it. I just want to let you know, just news outside of this bubble.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I have TVs that never turn on and nothing but pretty much tape rolling through here all the time. So
yeah, I mean, you just throw a goddamn play on the table. That is a whole different animal. I wish you nothing but How about Bigfoot? You believe in Bigfoot?
I think we're going to skip that question too. I'm not really sure about any of that stuff.
Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I just want to let you know I'm in on both of those. So if you ever want to have a conversation about Bigfoot whenever you're done here, just let me know.
Perfect.
I wish you nothing but success. You're honestly, and I know it probably gets talked about on a regular basis, how smart you are and how good of a football guy you are. But for me, from chatting with you a couple times and hearing stories from Vinatieri, who was friends with you, you're a cool dude.
Yeah.
Vinatieri is the best.
I love that guy, man. He's one of my absolute favorites. So I'll give you another quick story. I know you got phone calls and stuff to get to, but
that's actually the airport call.
Your flight's leaving now?
Yeah,
the delay. Yeah, perfect. Back in the day at New England, when I first got there, I was in charge of running special teams, show teams, and I'm stressing. I'm the young coach. I'm trying to get it right. I just don't want to get yelled at. Make sure everybody's out there. And we
need 11.
Just get. I don't even care. I don't like the water guy. Like put a helmet. I don't really care. And Adam, 100%. We'd be running the kickoff show team, and he'd walk out. And he's like, relax. I got this. And just that kind of guy of like, don't worry about it. Like I got this under control, and just took care of you. And from an early part of my career, he and I have just been really close. A lot of common interests. He's an unbelievable guy, great family guy, all of it, and just he's a special dude, man.
I honestly think he's just going to kick forever. I was very lucky to go to the Colts and be under his tutelage.
I'm just waiting for him to decide when he doesn't want to, so he can start coaching or whatever he's going to do. But he's can kick as long as he wants to. Tomlin
always told me, Mike Tomlin, he was going to wait until I got older and cheap and bring you back to Pittsburgh. He said, I'm just going to wait for you to get older and get cheap, and I'm going to bring you back to Pittsburgh. I would assume that every time we play
Did that pass?
I'm never going to be cheap, Coach.
Okay, all right, just checking. I thought not old, always young.
Well, I'm old as balls right now, man. You hear me walk down this hallway, it's just clickety-clack, literally. Your guy heard me walking in. But every time we would play anybody, one of Vinatieri's old teammates or old coaches is on another team, and they would all come up to him with the same thing. It's like, yo, when are you going to be done, man? When are you going to come kick for us, maybe, when you're done? I think he's going to kick until the day he dies. Yeah, I hope so. And I hope it's another 100 years because he's amazing, and he's made some of the most amazing kicks in some of the biggest games that I've ever seen. So he's the best. And he's an elite quarterback, just like Prater. I mean, we got some touchdowns, so, trying to keep that in common. I don't have one. Antonio Brown tackled a fucking tight end. Yeah, we ran a fake punt. Antonio Brown. Yes, that Antonio Brown tackled a tight end. He didn't score. 8-yard line. Well, from the Lions Den, here in lovely, is this Detroit? This would be, let's call it Detroit. Yeah. Lovely Detroit. Second-year head coach, a man who has been nothing but successful and nice. By the way, I think that goes understated and goes a long way in this business. Mr. Ticonderoga, Mr. Dry Erase, Mr. Fuck Your Table, I need to play Matt Patricia. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.